let's start. Today, if it works. Okay, perfect. So first of all, just to make the things very clear, today you won't become a social expert in 5 steps, become a search master in 4 steps, or a new media guru. You won't probably share it with your family because they don't care about search marketing. You won't discuss it with your friends because they don't care neither, or you won't explain it while you are at the butcher. So I hope, and maybe before that, I hope it's still time to run away or maybe learn something new. And that I really hope that you will enjoy this presentation with a few things that we will see search engine a little bit different. That it will allows you to put search into perspective and see what's the evolution there. Get for sure some more expertise. And the last one, which is not the least one, is become a little bit even more geek than some of you are. Yes, there are some geeks for the others. So today's agenda, it will be divided in 3 parts. The first part is our walk through Google search. We will go through the search engine, do a few searches, see what kind of result we can have, to discover that maybe search results are more rich than you might think. The second part is that we will have a deep dive into certain aspects, which are images, maps, and videos. We will go into details on these ones, on more technical details, on marketing aspects, and then also to the part about measuring, because a lot of you are marketers, and when you are doing some action, you want to measure the impact of this action. And these days, we have to speak about that, so what's next? It's about social. It's buzz, so I had to speak about that, but I think it will be something interesting because it's already live now in the US, and some aspects are pretty new, and I hope pretty new for you too. So let's start and to this walkthrough and a couple of searches. So some of you might have received an email from Gabriel Goldberg about the Search University, blah, blah, blah. And some of you know him, others don't. So those who don't know Gabriel Goldberg have maybe searched on Google, but who's that guy? And wow, first result, you got a pretty hot guy. This guy is hot. And beside that, you can even notice that he got a diploma. He's hot and he's got a diploma, so that's the guy you should marry. Maybe the truth is a little bit different, but he's there, so I won't go further on that. The second point is that you're wondering where's Le Méridien. So you search for Hotel Méridien Bruxelles in Google, and what's the first result which pop up is a map, pretty handy. I say I want to be prepared because I will meet this Gabriel Goldberg, so I want to know also about Google and try to challenge the guy. And I wonder, okay, what's new about Google? I search Google in Google, I got a lot of results, nothing very interesting, except if you go at the bottom of the page where you can see some kind of integration of news results out there. These are these results are for a few months ago when they give out their result of the first quarter. And another element which is quite interesting is that you got suggestion. And it's not like by chance that they put suggestion at the bottom of the page, because if you go down there, it's maybe because you didn't click on a link before and you didn't know or you didn't find out what you were looking for. So they may find interesting to suggest you where you should look at. So that's another point. But just before this presentation, this was this brilliant Johnny Hallyday fan, Olivier Zimmer, who made last year a tremendous presentation like this year. And you might search for him also on Google, Olivier Zimmer, Search University. And here you can find out his presentation for last year. You can even note just under the title, if I go here, about this presentation or this video is 34 minutes. Well, it might be a little bit long. So you go further in your search walkthrough, and is there any downloadable presentation? It might be handy to have the presentation or have the slide instead of looking at the video. And you search for it, like that, Olivier Zimmer, Prezo, and you just happen like file type, double points, PDF, and you will find out all the PDF responding at this query. If I zoom a little bit, you can indeed see one of the presentation of last year, and you have also the possibility here to just display this presentation right in your browser. So it's pretty handy. Another thing that I think may make Google pretty strong. Now you go further in the day, new trends in display advertising about remarketing, retargeting, that kind of stuff, and you want to know a little bit more about that. So you go to another search, AdWords remarketing, results, wow, quite classic. So maybe I should refine my search and go to something much more detailed, how to implement the tags of Google AdWords remarketing. And that's the result. At the first look, you will say, well, that's standard results. But if you look closely, what you will notice is that all the snippets, which are the description line, the line in black, are longer. Usually it's one title, 2 lines, 1 URL. Here, we got up to 3. And even if we go here, there are some which are up to 4. Why? Because your query is much more precise. And maybe you want more information before clicking on the link. So they give you more information from the search page, which was also during the presentation of Bing, one of the interests of the search engine, giving you more information right in the page of the search results. Then you know a little bit about these tags, AdWords, analytics, remarketing, conversion. That's a lot of things that you may think that it could mess up with your website. So you're wondering, okay, is there any issue between that? And you look for any problem, or is someone speaking about problems about this issue? What kind of result do we have here? Actually, we got forums. Right, because when you got a problem, you go to forums. And you go there, you speak with people, you ask questions, and sometimes people or Google person even answer on this question. So it might also send for that kind of query to have that kind of results. And the last one, which will also cover the last part of the presentation, the third one, is, yes, but what do my friends think about that? Should I post some status on Facebook? Hey guys, someone has feedback on the remarketing or something on Twitter. Maybe you can just ask again to our best friend Google, AdWords remarketing. This is a feature which is only available in on google.com in the States, or at least on the .com domain. And if you go at the bottom of the page here, and I will zoom, you got here, result from people in your social circle for AdWords remarketing. It's kind of beta, my social circle, and we will go in the last part of this presentation through this aspect about what's my social circle, how Google knows about my social circle, how I can try to customize it and work on having this content. And it makes sense. Just here, the two results. One is I'm connected with Inside AdWords through Gmail, apparently, and I'm connected through Dr. Dave Shafi through Twitter. Two other things. It's just like, did you mean to search for? It's also kind of help. Maybe you didn't type correctly. Often when I'm doing like writing an email in Dutch, I go to Google, type it, and see if I have like, no, you should write it that way. That's also quite helpful. Before going to the second part of the presentation, maybe you've seen a way of Google you didn't see before, or you didn't maybe notice it. At least I hope some of you didn't notice it, about how this result could be customized depending on the search. On Bing, it's much more obvious for those who attended the presentation, with special modules about how to decide where you're going to fly, what kind of price range you would like. And here it's very subtle, but I think it's something which makes the difference between Google and other search engine, because it gives you the relevant information for the query you're asking. So now we are going to something more techy and more marketing on this aspect, because that's nice. We have like a word to Google search. And let's see. First figure, 30 billion. that's the total, at the current run rate, that's the total number of photos that will be uploaded during 1 year on Facebook. So it's about 80 million photos that are uploaded. Imagine how big their server should be to support all this traffic coming to their server, because these photos are uploaded, and then after people are looking at this photo, so they should serve this photo too. So that's quite huge. So, okay, people are sharing photos on Facebook, but on a more commercial point of view, does it make sense? So you might look for a fridge here, Frigosmeg, and you got image results. You might look for a kitchen, and you got picture of kitchens. You might look for a book, and you got the cover of the book. You might look also for billboards, because it's the election, and it's more, there were a guy, but he's not there. I think about always asking question of B2B, but also for B2B, you will be able to work on this aspect if you produce billboards for other companies. And then for the more trendy ones, or the girls, even though here it's more about men, you can look for Gucci shoes. So whatever, I would say, whatever the industry you're in, it makes sense to be present with your image on the internet and then to optimize them. That's for the animation, sorry. First, technical aspect. Then we will go to marketing aspect. And third, we will go to more how to measure. Technical aspects, pretty basics, sitemaps, alt tag, file name, title and context, file size, and a kind of preview, it will be a funny one, I hope, slice and dice, and we will see what I mean about that. First, sitemap. If you want to have like a good indexation of your images within a search engine, what's a sitemap is just like a file, XML file, that contain the list of the URL of your site. You will submit this list of URL to Google or other search engine to say, hey guys, here are all my web pages. For that, you got even within the sitemap. So here it's an example of the location, example.com pages, sample.html. And you can also index within or mention that there are images and where these images are. So you will say at Google, that's my page, you should go there. That's the image on my page, you should go there to index them. I go just a few seconds because there's a link here. And I got 10 copies for those who are very interesting. It's a scientific paper written by Google and someone else from a Googler and someone else from the UCLA, the university in the States, about how search engine index and crawl actually the web, either following links, going to a page, going to links on this page, discover another page, and bring it back home, or through sitemaps, where that's more reactive because people send sitemap to Google. Google starts reading these sitemaps and knows about the URL. So otherwise, you can go to that URL. I think all the presentation will be available in the coming days. So you will find back this information. It's pretty interesting. Alt tag, wow, that's my profile on my website. And what's an alt tag? If I go in the source code, I can add this element, alt, and then between the brackets, I can just explain what the image is about. Because so far, even though it's evolving, for a search engine, when they are crawling the web, they do not understand what's the content of the image. And then you can just add a simple tag of kind of tag explaining what's in it. The first is the alt tag. Pretty easy to manipulate. The second one is the name of the file, because when the search engine is going to scan the page, it will understand that. And instead of writing the name of your image, DCS111, it will be just the name. And Google will understand that a .jpeg is an image. So it's something that you can also work on. It's not complicated, it's not a black box. It's just work and common sense. Other elements, if I'm a search engine, I go to that page, I can scan the page, I know that there is an image. I've seen that I got information about the name of the image is Nicolas Debray, the alt tag is Nicolas Debray, but I will look around to find out information. So it's interesting to know that there's a lot of chances that the search engine will understand that the text who's there will be related to the image. And the title, because a title is always more important when you're writing an email, the title is kind of a summary of what's in the email normally. Give more information. So on a SEO perspective, you will have just to work on that, have text, have the right keywords, and have a right title. So again, it's not a black box, it's just work and common sense. Another element, just for you, it's the developer tool, which is in the browser of Chrome, where you can see how long it takes for the different element of a page to load. And if I drill down this element from the elements who takes the most of the time, who takes a long time to load, that's actually all the images on the page. So when you're, and it's the same story, it's pretty obvious. When you go to a website and the page doesn't load, you go away. So instead of placing, you got a tremendous phone, and you want simply to give like the best picture of your phone, and you put like file of images of 10 mega. It will take years to load, especially on cell phone, and the guy will go away, which was not your aim at the beginning. So you will have to find out a way to have file not that large, and maybe to have like specific pages with a photo in high resolution, if really people are interested in looking for a more detailed picture. Know that everything has been pretty serious. I see you're not, you're very concentrated. But you're following. Slice and dice. What do I mean by that? It's more when I was working at Google, a term that they were using to how to segment the images. I took I think a very interesting example is Paris Hilton. Why? Because she's nice, she's pretty, but is she better? First, before we can note that there are these elements. These are the way you can segment actually the picture you're looking for. No, it's more obvious in the new UI, the new user interface of Google, and you can directly select, and that was also shown during the presentation of Bing, that kind of tools, the size, if you want a high resolution, the type, if you want just the face of the person, or maybe you want a specific color. So that was the funny thing. Do you prefer Paris Hilton in red? Okay, I'll let you have a look. Or maybe in pink. So directly you got everything. So I think it's pretty useful, but the joke is the next thing is just like, maybe most of you just want to get rid of her because she's kind of stupid. Next. Before starting this marketing aspect, the main idea was actually you can fix element on your website pretty easily. This will help search engine to understand about these elements, and this will help people to find out your products when they are searching on Google. This will drive you traffic. That's the idea behind it. That's a more marketing aspect. Here, I will just have like a few words on a beta which is running right now only in the States, and it's a limited beta where you can have in the AdWords images within the search results. On a technical point of view, I don't know if it will be rolled out to all the advertisers. Why? Because it will be difficult to maintain. That's my point of view, at least, to maintain your product, because when you're selling phone, they are changing every 6 months, and to have all the time updated picture of your products. But it's something, and it's interesting to see where Google is heading to, And if you want more information, there's also here under a link, and you will have in the presentation anyway, where you can find out what they are working on. No, the main idea was to work on technical aspects, to rank high in the search engine, get traffic from there. And once we've worked on that, if your companies you've invested, you work internally or with a company externally, so it means that you've spent money doing that, so worth it or not. You got two pretty interesting tools to measure the impact on this work. The first is the Webmaster tool, which has also changed recently, where you can find much more feedback, and you can go through the Webmaster tool. You go to your site on the web, you got the top search query reports, you can drill down to images and see, okay, all the queries that all the queries on which I appeared and drive sometimes traffic to my site, what were the position? And I took Gabriel Goldberg with the nice picture at the beginning. You can see Gabriel Goldberg had 260 impressions, a very low click-through. What were the position and what were the page rank? So for instance, you got here certification, which was actually the diploma of individual qualification of Google Analytics. So when you're working on that, you can have like a much more interesting feedback now. The second aspect is Google Analytics. A lot of advertisers, a lot of website owners have on their website a Web Analytics. Most of them have Google Analytics, which is quite robust to manage the expectation of at least 90% of the people. And you can just go there, go in the referring site reports, do a search for images, and find out image.google.com.fr and to see what kind of traffic did it bring to you. You can create an advanced segment if you want. Just one thing is that Google has changed something for the more people more advanced in Web Analytics, that they have changed some elements. So you won't find, again, going in referral report, then images. You will have to go referral, Google, and then within Google you will see /IMG RES. So that's just for the thing. So again, if I sum up, the idea was optimize your site, pretty obvious, no secret there. Bring traffic to your website. And the idea behind that also on a more marketing point of view is if you can give content to your user. If you go and want to buy a car, you want to buy a cell phone, you want to buy a kitchen, you want information before going to the shop. You want to be informed, you want to see the different model, the different colors, the different perspective, and that's information you can put it on your site. And if you work good, this information can be indexed by search engine and drive traffic to your website, and then you enter in a positive loop. The second aspect is the geolocation. And 1 out of 5 searches on Google are related to location, and that's something pretty recent. It's from April, the 20th of April, and set by a VP of Google Maps and other geo products. Again, 3 steps: technical aspect, marketing, and measuring. The most important, if you want to rank high for located searches, you have to register in, at least for Google, in the local business center. Now the local business center is Google Place. We will go through a short example, which will bring us to the third and the fourth point. So a short example of slice and dice. Then we will have an overview of mobile and HTML5. And you will maybe understand better what I will speak about mobile and HTML5. That's the previous interface of local business center, when you can, for free, add your listing, all your shops, stores, or showrooms, or whatever. You can give information. Here, just like giving a small tip, is how you can do that in a SEO-friendly way. Is, for example, instead of saying the name of your company, just Semetis, you place Semetis pipe, for instance, or dash, it doesn't really matter, plus the keywords that are important for you. It's more about the concept here that you can work on this small aspect. And as a result, if I search on google.be, at least for my results, for web analytics agency in Brussels, the first result is our local business listing, which could be interesting for a lot of small companies. The second point is about the slice and dice. Is also if you go in the left-hand side panel of Google, you can see that you can search for a specific area. I do believe it will evolve with the evolution of the technologies, especially the HTML5. That won't make a lot of sense to search that way because so far people are searching, I want a hotel in Italy, I want what do I want? A boat in Sardinia. So maybe, thank you anyway. This will bring you to what's more, I think at least, the future is heading to, is mobile search and HTML5. Why? Because on mobile, all the mobile device got, a lot of them got a built-in GPS or geolocation system. And Google or other services can access this information from your mobile and know more or less where you are. And so make it more relevant. So I can take my phone, search for restaurant, and I will have like the list of restaurants just here nearby. This is for mobile. No, that was the big debate for those who follow that about Apple who just slap the Flash formats, and they want to go all that way to HTML5, is that it's the evolution of the standard format of HTML, how the web pages are written, and that will allow the browser to access your location. And a lot of applications, a lot of websites, of services on your website could have access to this information if you accept it, obviously. The snapshot I've taken is coming from a blog who was maybe find out, I don't know how, to have this interface of Google. So far it doesn't exist, or it was just maybe a test they've done. But here the main idea is that location is something coming and becoming more present in the way you're going to search to make it more relevant. And how you can work on that is especially being present, at least for the SEO, in the local business center or Google Places. Here also, very interesting on the marketing aspect. We'll go through AdWords and see what's possible for you to do with AdWords on that topic. Few words on the Google Maps API and geolocated services, but I will just go very briefly. Maps, I don't know if you've noticed, but it's a couple of weeks and almost months that now, when you're searching, here it's Ixina, Belgium, you got first new kind of site links within the ads, and you got also a plus box, which is display the cards and addresses just nearby for Ixina, which is pretty relevant because sometimes you don't want to buy online, you just want to know where's the shop, where's the store the most nearby is. And you can even move the map here or search precisely where you want to see if there's an existing one. So that's one thing, how you can do that. It's in the campaign settings in AdWords. You go to the settings tab, there's ad extension, and there's the location one. This one, you can link it to your Google Places listing, and it will automatically update and take your location. And if someone is looking for BMW showroom in Ghent, it will have, like in the local listing, all the showrooms around Ghent. So it makes very sense for you to work like that if you got at least a network of resellers, of your own resellers. Another one is more specific on AdWords, is how you're going to build your campaign. So you want to advertise on your shop, you will create a separate campaign because you want to drive traffic and put in advance because there's often kind of war internally between the web, who's taking over the traditional sales department, and you want to show them that you are not there to cannibalize them, but you are more a way to promote the brand globally, that kind of bullshit. And in the map, you can structure your campaign. One clear example is, on one hand, list an ad group with all the location where you got your shop. So I got a shop in Leuven, and I say Leuven Semetis. Then another one, I do not have like any shop in Arlon, and thus I will create an ad group with Semetis Arlon. Why? Because when someone is going to search for Semetis Leuven, with this one, I will show this ad text. And we will find Semetis Arlon, which will be Semetis Leuven, which will be in the headline. Find out how to get to. Our shop locator makes it easy. On the other one, someone is looking for a shop in Arlon, but you do not have one, and you don't want to make him believe that clicking on this ad will bring him to this local shop. You will just have like a standard title, Semetis shop near you. Find out the nearest shop with our store locator. And here I come to the second point, is the Google Maps API. It's pretty robust, and you can just use the Google Maps on your site. Then the first part is free. Then you have to pay a developer internally or externally to create and to work on the API and say, I want this map, and on this map, you show these points, and when someone clicks on these points, it will open and have this and this information. And you can really customize it. It's not that hard, because I've done it myself, and I don't know nothing about any kind of coding. And you find plenty of examples online, but developers know about that, and it's very accessible. The last one, it's a trendy one. I don't know who here in the room knows about Foursquare. Foursquare? Yeah, that's not that bad. It's just like a location service where you go, you register, and then you go around. I'm here, I check in, and I say here, I'm here. You can find out who's there, who check in actually, and you can find out also if your friend check more often on a place than you. And if you check out more often, more often than anyone else, you will become the mayor of the place. And so it's just like a sort of game. That's funny, that's interesting, but again, and I will come with a pretty basic example, which is the one of Starbucks, who just use Foursquare and say, all the mayors of my Starbucks will receive some reduction. Why? Because at the end, they are doing some promotion, because they say, I'm here, and all their friends know about that. And so it's kind of entertaining a kind of network. Another application that I think it's very, very interesting is the MIVB STIB for the public transport in Brussels. And they've created this application. They can access here, this point is where you are, because of the mobile device. No, it's on mobile, these two snapshots. They know who you are, and they display where are the tram stops nearby. And then you click on it, and you get the schedule. For those who are using the public transport, it's pretty useful. The point here is, indeed, in the marketing aspect, is that you can build on these geolocated services more services for your clients. You can build pretty robust and interesting and useful shop locators and other services. And these services are coming in the future. Some exist, like the STIB, and we must say that the STIB do not have the image to be the most innovative company, but here they are. And I think it's a kind of good idea how to use mobile device and geolocation aspects. Now, how to keep track on that? You've invested in that. You want to know a little bit about the feedback. You got Google Place, You got Google AdWords if you're advertising. So that's important because you invest some money in the advertising. So you want to know what's up. And Google Analytics, we will give you more information. Google Place, honestly, so far, it sucks. There's nothing. You can't leverage really this information. You got how many times your listing has been shown and how many times people really click on the kind of small bubble to have like more details. That's all. On Google AdWords, and for the moment, maybe some of you knows about local business ads. Someone raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, more and more, okay. It's just like a way to advertise on Google Maps, which is disappearing in some way and transition to what's the ad extension that we've seen for Cuisine Xina, and where you can have like in your AdWords interface a specific tab, and it's also pretty new. It's about 1 week that it now show in all the AdWords interface, and you can have like information about how many times your ad extension have been shown for which location and how many times they have been clicked. And then once you know about that, if you're using a tool like Google Analytics, you can also see what traffic is coming from Google Maps. Even though here my point would be it's not very interesting to know about that. Why? Because you want people to just get their itinerary and go to the shop, not to come to your website. But some way you can measure that, and the same way that we did it with the images, referring sites, you search for maps, and you can see what the traffic is, and then you got all the other metrics, how many times this traffic stay on your website, what kind of pages where they were coming from, etc. So you got also some information. The third point and the last one of this second part is about video. Also, I know very famous or very well-known information is about every single minute, 24 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube. So that's the same. That's a huge amount of video. Does it make sense for you to be present, to work on this aspect? And I will say yes. You might be in the fashion industry, but we got some in Belgium at least. And you will have like fashion show showing up. Sorry. So it's about the fashion industry, and you could show the two video. You got like cars and other kind of products, and someone is looking here. It was for a motorbike, Ducati Monster test, and you got here some test and review from specific not company but bloggers or other. You might look for instance, this is also pretty interesting for someone looking for, should I choose between plasma or LCD? And this kind of query comes very, very, very often in Google. And here it makes sense for you to have, like on your site, some video explaining about, yes, we know about that, and maybe if you have like that kind of room, maybe it's that kind of technology is better for your needs, etc., etc. And there, on the marketing side, you can just put or just like show your expertise on this domain. So it's more about branding and expertise, and if people believe in you or at least trust you, they are more likely to buy at the end. So it's much more a long-term perspective. This one is also very, very small. Say how to install a live box, which often happens when you just switch from internet service provider and you receive this box and you don't know how to do it, and maybe there's some information on the net, and then you search on Google, and it might be interesting if you are Proximus, Mobistar, Scarlett, more Belgacom, sorry, Telenet. You might create this content for your user and put it there because others can find it that way, searching simply through Google. So again, it makes sense. The point of these slides was just to prove that it makes sense to integrate this aspect in your search strategy, or at least your content creation strategy, because people on the other side, your clients or potential clients, are searching on search engine. That's the same structure, technical aspects, marketing, and measuring. Here, it's pretty similar to images. We will just go briefly through the sitemap, metadata, and context, the file name. One really interesting is the transcription, and for the show, a slice and dice. Sitemaps, again, is just a file with all the list of your URLs, and there are kind of specific sitemaps, or it's possible to build specific sitemaps for video. In there, you will, for instance, look on Google for Restaurant Le Monte Carlo Bruxelles, and you will see like a result from cities.be, which is actually the company which is filming today, Toast. Because they submit a sitemap to Google. And if we look more closely to this element, we can see where is the content location. It gives the URL. And again, it's just submitting a file saying to Google, hey, this content is there. And what contains this content? We will see that just after, sorry. With the sitemap, and sitemap will come in the metadata and context, is metadata and context the title. Because when we put the video of the first edition of the Search University, it was an AdWords presentation, AdWords Prezo. If I search on Google for AdWords Prezo, or on here it's on google.be, French speaking, the first result is the presentation of Olivier, and you can see it with some more information. So again, it makes sense to be there. Let's go back briefly to the sitemap and the description. Actually, when I was looking for Le Monte Carlo, the title here is Le Monte Carlo. And that's precisely the one who's displaying here. The same with the description, which is here. And that's maybe a little bit too long. But what was the description taken by Google? The description from the sitemap. So you can somehow influence what Google is going to display about you. Again, no black box. It's pretty basic. It's not rocket science. It's just about working and process to not forget about doing that. In case of the file name, just like the images, it's another element that could help search engine to understand what the file is about. Here in this example, unfortunately, we had a totally wrong name, Conference 03 Google iPods. At least Google was not that bad, but the rest is not good. Are you sleeping? No, okay, thanks. The fourth, it's interesting, it's in beta, and it's the transcription. One way Google is saying, yes, we will give access to a lot more of people to the content in the video because we are going to propose transcripts. On the other hand, that's nice. On the other hand, if you succeed in transcripting a video, you will understand, or a search engine, a search robot will understand what's the content of the video. And so all this content, this 24 hours uploaded every minute on YouTube, will be searchable. They could be able to index it and return it to the searcher. And then for others, like some of you, companies, for potential clients or customers. And here I took just a snapshot of, again, the same presentation of Olivier during the first presentation, and we can really see first that it's a beta. You can submit your file, or it will do it automatically, but it's a beta. And actually, if you go through that, you will see that it's not working that great. But again, it's to say today it's not working, but that's the direction they are trying to take at least. So that's the way they are going to try to index all the content of the video. Just like the images, we had the possibility to give information around. Here also, we got possibility to give information around, and Google is working on it. For the images, we got, some of you may know Google Goggles. When you just take a picture of something, and it will probably recognize what's the picture is about. Slice and dice, it's not always relevant, even though you might look for the iPhone 3G, because now there's the 3GS, soon the 4G, and you want to see what was the first commercial or something like that. And you just go there, you search for iPhone 3G, and you just have more possibility to look into and to slice and dice the data and see, I want to see short video, of longer video, of I want to see, because let's imagine that in some times, maybe, and more than probably, there will be like TV shows on Google, also in Belgium, because it's already available in the States. And you do not want to have the trailer, which is 30 seconds. You want the 20 minutes or the 40 minutes episodes. And so you can directly say, okay, I will go in this category or this one. And I remember it was from the years 2005, so I will go and select by date, and I want a quite good quality if possible. And so I will say, okay, I want high quality here with subtitles. So you got also the possibility to go much more in detail. And that's a global direction that search engines are taken. We saw it with Microsoft earlier today about how to dig into this data and find out precisely the information people are looking for and giving them some tools. On the marketing aspect, there's this always rumor about video integration in the search result in AdWords. I think it's a kind of alternative information, and the last one is more about broader vision about video, the aspect that you can embed this video from one side to another side, and the platform convergence, which is the web. So let's go first very quickly to this example. It's an old snapshot I've taken. You can see with the interface of Google has changed a lot since that time, and it's just like a one plus box that could show you video, and it makes sense to have that. For more info, again, I've put here a link, it's at google.com/ads/innovations. You will find out there are more upcoming product of testing and tested products on this. Alternative info, we've seen on the images, sorry, we've seen on the images that people want information, so you can, you can leverage this content. That's the same with video, because you can communicate with this video, you can give information to your client customer who are coming to your website, and you can do it easily with the web. I mean, the how to cook a tiramisu, how to fix something in the house, how to, here it's about painting something in the house too. So there's a lot of topics that you can create a specific video that you might have already created this video, but you didn't give it away to the web, which is here the point I would like to make. There's the unboxing, which is pretty trendy on the techie blogs about iPad unboxing. Hey, I opened the box and I see a nice iPad, and the box is like that, and oh, I think it's pretty nice. And every person interested in that kind of products are looking at this video, because when we are looking at the total number of views, they are pretty high. It's about 10,000, 20,000, sometimes hundreds and thousand views. And then when these people are doing this kind of vlogs, video blogs, they do the unboxing, they test the phone, and then they give their feedback. So that's that kind of journalist or not, are blogger journalists, that's another debate. So we got the third point, which was the review. And the fourth is more basic, I admit, is just you create a commercial, why not put it online? For the moment, there is an amazing commercial of Nike for the World Cup. They put it online. People start sharing it, and you work on your brand awareness on that. Instead of just placing it on TF1 or VTM and pay a lot of money, no, put it there also to push and let people pull it on the web. So here also I think it's pretty interesting. And that point of pulling it on the web, let people pull this information, is what's the platform at the end? Will all the people use a smartphone or use an iPad on a computer, I rather believe that web is going to be the platform. I serve the web on my PC, on my desktop, on my, I do not have an iPad, but I saw someone having an iPad and surfing from there. That's where people are, and that's where people can access the information. So the idea here is quite simple, is you got this video, you got this content, put it on the web, put it on your website, put it on your social sites, if you got your fan, Facebook fan page, if you got a Twitter account, let's link to your content, and also to Dailymotion, for instance, because people, when they are looking for a video, they go on the web. And they go on YouTube, they go on Dailymotion or other kind of Garage TV, for instance. So let's build the content there. And when you are doing a marketing push, just promote this content. I've read an article, it was 2 days ago, about the fact that some companies for the World Cup are going to first promote their video, their campaign, online, and especially on YouTube. So that's the way, you put your content there, promote it there, and then people will just interact with your brand. Same story, because yeah, it's nice doing that kind of stuff, investing. If I had tons of money, I would do that video and that video to show my brand doing that, and people will love it. And so, but at the end, the boss come and say, okay, I gave you that amount of money and now the results aren't that great. So I want feedback. What happened? And you can measure and have some feedback through YouTube Insights, Google AdWords if you're investing on it, and Google Analytics, I would say, again. And when I say Google Analytics, it's also the other web analytics tools. Here, just a snapshot about the interface of YouTube Insights. You can go have different kind of reports here about your video. For instance, for the discovery, how people discover your video. They discover it on a YouTube watch page, on an embedded player, on another site, maybe a blog, someone else took your video and create an article, a review, or something else, or your own YouTube channel page. So you can there have feedback, and what's interesting is that you can have like measurable feedback that you can even export in CSV and then build your own dashboard. On AdWords, if you invest on video advertising, and I guess it's pretty the same on other advertising networks, you just have like reports specific for video, play rates, the playback, the total number of playback, the average person of played, etc., and how much you invest. And then the last one, which is Google Analytics, is again, if it drives traffic to your website, what kind of traffic was it? Good quality, bad quality, from where it was coming, what kind of product attract traffic, or even you can go further and you can integrate video on your website and track how people interact with the video on your website. What were the hot videos? How many event tracking, actually, that's the more precise name. How many times this video has been played, how many times this one, how long it has been played. So you can go there and build your own kind of dashboards to just measure and track your performance. I'm always done. Some will be happy. No. And we're just going to the next point, and that's more my personal point of view, what's next about more social and real times. What do I mean by that is no web is social, social here, social there, and Facebook and Twitter and Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, and again, social network, and you should do something there. And that's hot for the moment. So you got your friends. Another aspect is people want information now. What has been the strongest criticism for CNN lately? It was, yes, if we want information, when there were this tragic incident in India, the information was on Twitter, not on CNN. When there were the incident in Iran, where was the information? On YouTube, on Twitter, but not on the TV. And the press has to react because of that time. Search engines are working on that. They close deal, Bing closed deal with Facebook and Twitter, such as Google, to integrate some of the information within the search results. And the last point is more marketing aspect, that you want to become a star and have a lot of fans, followers, and that's more the idea here to, okay, I'm doing something on social networks, but again, I want something concrete, and I want to measure it. The technical aspects is first the social networks, the social circles that we saw at the early beginning in the work through Google search, and content and links. Social networks, I just wrote 2 capital S at the beginning and at the end, especially at the end of networks, because there's not one social network. All of you know that you are on Facebook with your friends, you are on LinkedIn for professional relation, and maybe you are on Twitter just to tweet. Then, okay, but at the end, the aggregator of this information, isn't it a search engine? When you're looking for something, actually, instead of searching on Twitter, you just go and search on Google, and you will have like the latest tweet, but also the latest post on blogs, and this kind of information. When you're searching for someone, are you going directly on LinkedIn, or you search on Google, and you will see Facebook profile? Okay, what's the picture? Okay, and then on LinkedIn, okay, what's the profile of that guy? What's his career? So again, here, Google and other search engine could be like the aggregator of this information, and not this social web going and taking everything over. Social circles. That's not something really new, because years and years and decades, actually, people were already gathering together. At the early days of the web, it was also about the long tail theory. You had a lot of niche, and all people who are fan of that kind of music could gather on a forum on something else. Just the web evolves. Technically, you got more possibilities, and you got more information. But social circle on the webs, let's say that you are A, and you got friends. And these friends got also friends, and they are linked to websites. What's and how it's going to happen in your search results? For instance, let's take again another search result from people. So here, result from people in your social circle for Google TV. And I click on my social circles here. Up, I click on it. That's the page where I land, social circles. I can see the information. I got here, up, direct connection from Google Chat Buddies and Contacts, 32. Direct connection from links, list on your Google profile. Actually, I just set up a Google profile for myself, and I say that's the link to my Twitter, my Facebook, and and my own websites. And then the secondary connections, because my friends are connected to other person or their own websites. So I took an example with BScene and how they could show up in the result when I'm looking for it. I'm connected to BScene through Twitters, but BScene on Twitters links also to search marketing blogs.bscene.be. So I might look for information on Google, which will say, but that's relevant because BScene has written a post on that topic, and so I will show up this result instead of another result because they are friends. If I'm looking for information about a place to visit, maybe it's more relevant to have like the advice of the post that my friend have written on the web instead of a common result from another blog or forums that we've seen. And so that's pretty interesting. The only difficult aspect is that I have to set up my personal profile and all my friends have to do it. So it's still a little bit more techy, but the point here is interesting to see how these friends are coming in the search results. The last one, also I kept the more basic one for the end, is when a search engine crawl all these tweets, what kind of information they can find is easy. The content of the post that you've written, of the message you've posted on Twitter, the links within that post, what kind of links, where do they links to this post, who links to your post, and how many times you've been retweeted, for instance, if we take Twitter as an example, of the content of the link post. So I got a tweet which speaks about search marketing to another page which is about search marketing. It makes sense, so it's relevant. That's the same for search engine, in general, for search engine optimization, where you are working on link building. You won't ask to your butcher to link to your search engine blog, because a butcher page which speaks about meat doesn't have anything to do, and that Google can understand that the quality of the link is not that great. And the last point could be the language of the post, of the tweet, the time, which is pretty important because you want instant information, and the location, which will come with your device, because when you post a tweet, it's a tweet from Brussels. So you are, for instance, you go to a concert, and you want to know who is saying what in this area about this concert, and you can maybe find out your friends around. So there's a lot of possibilities. Marketing aspect, back to AdWords. One of basic advantage of AdWords, it's you can react instantly. So you can directly be there. AdWords offer this real-time information. For that, you can structure your campaigns and ad groups and adapt your budget. What do I mean by that? It's just like you got like 5 products, 5 different cars, and instead of placing all your cars in one campaign, you will just split in different campaigns. Because if one car has a lot of success, you want to put the maximum of budget on this one instead of the others. So there you can have, like, from your structure, some flexibility, and then you can adapt your budget. Be there, and it's more a broadened debate about the example I've taken is about Facebook and more local example of proxies on Twitter. Be your salesman, be there, and be your advocate, because people will also attack you on the web if you're present. But the web is 24/7, so be there all the time. How to keep track? Facebook is working on it. You got Facebook page activity, KPI, it's very easy, and again, Google Analytics. And then, I assure you, we're done. Facebook activity is just like a sum up of what happened on your profile page. On this one, nothing happens. KPIs, also, you can measure it. You can find out KPIs like the number of posts you've done, if you're pretty active there, the number of interactions, number of fans, how do they grow week on week, month on month, the evolution, number of followers depending on the social networks, the number of clicks on your bit.ly click, so the shortener of the URL, and what kind of traffic you generate, and did it generate traffic to your website? So you can just like sum up and say, okay, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube are social networks. You can create a special filters, create a special segment in analytics to just isolate this traffic and try to better analyze and understand where these people are coming from, and what was the quality and how you can work on it. So after this, I guess this long presentation, I will go to the conclusion. The first one is obviously think first, then on the web you have to act and refine. Just act, do it because you can do it, and refine because it's real time and you can adapt and change your point of view quite rapidly. The second one is leverage your existing content. Pictures, video, often they are there for your catalog, etc. Put it online. And then think just to fix the technical aspects that we've seen. It's not that hard. It's not, again, not black box. It's just work and methodology. And the fourth one is get a presence. It's more about be there online with social media, but also, and certainly with advertising, with your website, with your content. And the fifth one, which is the last one, for those who are still alive at the end of this presentation, become even more geek than ever. So thank you for having listened to me all that time.